Hello, this is Danny, and today we are yet again doing another episode of mini podcast series with Danny. And I'm so sorry that I haven't been doing this for like the past 3 months. I mean, 3 weeks rather, because there was a typhoon. I got sick, and internet connection was down because of the typhoon and all those shenanigans in my head. Today's episode is about how are we supposed to practice happiness. Yes, I know. Do we really need to practice happiness? And if you want to be happy, get one of these. It's really much recommended. Yeah, it's just small and you know. Anyways, getting back to the actual business. Why are we supposed to practice happiness? Why? In the middle of actually teaching my 13-year-old student, there was a question in her book in the terms of practicing happiness. So she asked me, "Teacher, why do we even have to practice happiness? Doesn't happiness just happen, or it's just something that we feel?" And I was actually stunned as well, because as an adult, that question hit me deep as well. So that's today's episode. Let's break down what happiness really means and why, for many of us, it doesn't just come. We have to cultivate it, we have to practice it, we have to protect it. So, part one of this mini podcast series, we need to define happiness, because how are we supposed to look for it if we do not even know what we are looking for? For here it is. So, let's start with the basics. What is happiness? Is it like self-satisfaction? Is it comfort? Is it indulgence? Is it excitement? So I think happiness is the experience of emotional well-being, contentment, and peace, regardless your circumstances. And it's not always loud or dramatic. Sometimes it's just quiet. And a safe conversation, a long walk, a good cry before you sleep so deeply, if you could sleep. But there's the thing, you can't chase happiness without defining what it looks like for you. So it's pretty much subjective in the first place. So let's say for me, it's deeply tied to my identity and my purpose, because what am I gonna do in this world if not what? Diba? I'm Daniel, so I'm a child of God, a Christian, a daughter, a friend, an educator, a creative, and do whatever that is, a psych major student, whatever, what it is that for you. So I also got this from a research which indicates that having something to believe in, whether it's a personal belief system, a spiritual or religious faith, or a strong sense of purpose, can positively influence an individual's mental health and well-being. When I live in line with that, happiness just, follows. Part 2. So why adults struggle more into looking happiness, making themselves happy. So because, kids often think happiness just happens, but the older you get, the more complex your inner thoughts are, because your frontal lobe is actually developing. Your emotions are not black and white anymore. You're juggling responsibilities, grief, past hurts, identity questions, future fears, and yet still expected to stay positive. That is exactly why we need to practice happiness. Because if you don't, it slips through your fingers. It just doesn't happen anymore. So this past year was actually not so easy for me, so that's why I have been experimenting into things that will make me happy, and I've had to actively choose happiness by doing things that grounded me. For example, I have been keeping in touch with my friends since I was in elementary, high school, college, career life, social life. Ginaisa-isa ko sila to have dates with me. Okay, I'm so sorry for that. That was my props for later. So yeah, just literally spending time with those people that I do care about, I do invest in those people that I actually really love and care about. And also letting go of grudges, even with my exes kadamo gid, or past talking stages or whatsoever, or people I once dated somehow somewhere, unless they actually did me dirty. I mean, if you actually did me dirty, you would know that, because I wouldn't communicate to you, I wouldn't react to any of your posts, yada yada yada. But anyways, yeah, I would make sure that you could still say hi to me whenever I cross with you in the street, bump into you anywhere in the streets of Iloilo City, because the city is so small, everyone knew each other, or everyone know each other. A very familiar story because if you're following me in my Tomb account, yeah, you know the stories. Also, I have been exploring or getting deep into the hobbies that I already have. So, singing, rapping, playing guitar, journaling, acting, poetry, acting sa mirror lang. And then museums, walking, and jogging. Yesterday, I went jogging for the very first time in the past month because I've been busy for work. Also with journaling, yeah, share ko lang, I've been like journaling for 6 years now, and every name in my life is here in the past 6 years. Whether you done me good or you done me bad, it's here on those papers. So yeah, and my descendants are going to hear from you whether you did me good or did me dirty. Watch out. Ka-enthusiastic sa ako ng energy, medyo hindi ko na siya kaya i-keep up. So yes, with also getting into museums in my city, there's like a lot of available free museums, and I actually met someone there who's like Gigit. He is like a retired na UP professor who is majoring in English, and that was actually like a very nice na stranger interaction. He has a lot of wisdom inside of his head, and we shared a lot of thoughts. We talked for like an hour there in the museum for like an actual strangers. He's a nomad, and it's actually really nice to like hear wisdom from other people, and you know, just seeing life in a different glasses or like in a different perspective. You know, having those moments where you will feel that you're alive, those things would make you happy, whether if it does actually make you happy as well. So all these things remind me, again, I'm alive, I'm me, and that's worth celebrating. I mean, who else would you be but Danny? So part 3, mental health and help seeking. Another thing I've learned, you cannot separate happiness from mental health. I've gone to counseling, I visited free mental health centers in my city like Raise Mental Health Care, WIVSU OPD Psychiatry, and even talked to my school guidance counselors, because what else can you do but access those free access psychiatric stuff. So these services are lifelines when you cannot afford much more private ones yet. So yeah. Because you know, healing is not instant. Regulating your nervous system, naming your emotions, letting yourself be seen, it's part of practicing happiness, because sometimes, you know, if hindi mo ma-clear imo nga mind, how are you gonna say that you're like being happy whatsoever, yada yada. But yeah, it really does depend. That's why you need to like define what happiness is for you sa ating first part, Gina. That brings us to number 4. For me, or subjective na ni siya somehow, or like let's say on a Christian context, beyond happiness, real joy. Okay, so beyond happiness, I've found something deeper. So joy isn't just the absence of sadness, it's the presence of Jesus Christ. So it's the peace that holds you when things don't go your way. It's the comfort that comes from knowing you're loved internally or eternally, not just circumstantially, because you know, everything in this world will rot. Who knows? We're all gonna die anyway, so what's now? What's next? As Psalm 16:11 says, in your presence there is fullness of joy. At your right hand are pleasures of forevermore. So that's joy. I anchor my life in it because o ka pa ma-depend, but to the person or to someone that actually need everything in this world, because you know, personal lang man you could find your own whatever you want to believe in whatsoever. So because when happiness is hard to reach, joy carries me, because this life is so hard. Okay ka pa da, Apple? So yeah, that wraps up everything in our mini podcast series today. So yes, happiness takes practice. You define it, you protect it, you cultivate it with intention. But more than that, true happiness starts with identity and is rooted on your personal purpose and is completed in joy. And for me, all that begins and ends with Jesus Christ. Even though I'm definitely not a perfect Christian, I mean, both of my hands are up, you know. So yeah, thanks for being here. If this spoke to you, please share it with someone who's also figuring things out in life and how to stay soft and steady in this world that is pretty much chaotic. I know. Until next time, this is Daniel. Goodbye.